People have a tendency of saying, this is how I feel, and my feelings are valid. And they have an expectation that the other people should validate their feelings. We should hit pause and slow down before we passionately defend that which may be causing us distress or contributing to conflicts in our lives. If it's contributing to mental health symptoms, if we're having conflicts at home or as a society, then maybe we should slow that process down. We need to look more carefully at the definition of validity. The definition of validity is the quality of being factual or logical. And we have to ask ourselves, are emotions factual and logical? It's something to ponder. It's debatable. So to be clear, I am saying that everyone is entitled to their feelings. Feelings just come sometimes, and we can't always control that. For everybody, we find ourselves having an emotional reaction, and we're allowed to feel the whole gamut of the human emotions. But just because we feel something does not mean that it's factual or logical. In fact, there's a cognitive distortion known as emotional reasoning. Emotional reasoning is basically when you say to yourself, just because you're feeling something, that is factual and based in reality, when that's not necessarily the case. So if you say, I'm feeling guilty, therefore I must have done something wrong, that may not be true. If you say, I feel like my partner is cheating on me, therefore they must be unfaithful. Just because you feel that way does not mean that that's true. It may be something that you need to explore. There could be evidence to support that. But before you so passionately defend your feelings, you want to ask yourself, is there any evidence to support this? Before you project that feeling onto someone else, you have to ask yourself, is there any evidence to support this? Am I emotionally reasoning? Is it becoming an emotional truth? So, for example, if you're telling yourself that I feel like my partner is unfaithful to me, therefore it's true. And if you're able to just hit pause and ask yourself, like, what has my partner done to indicate that they're unfaithful? If there isn't any evidence to support that, then you should be careful about projecting that feeling onto a partner. You may have been cheated on in the past, and your mind has a way of remembering traumatic experiences to protect you from it happening again. That's normal and that's healthy, but sometimes it can actually harm you. If you're projecting that onto your current circumstances and there's nothing going on right now, then it's going to lead to conflicts, which will cause you emotional distress inside, which isn't healthy for you. You don't want to intentionally ruminate on a feeling and then validate that feeling and the thoughts that triggered it so impulsively without hitting pause to ask if there's evidence to support it. Feelings are not facts. It is true that you're feeling that in the moment, but it doesn't mean that that feeling is based upon reality. You should give yourself permission to feel your feelings and create space for that. And no one should take that away from anyone. You're entitled to feel how you feel. But before you let those feelings come out and project them and aim them at someone else who you may love or towards yourself, you have to say, wait, is there any evidence to support this? Let me check in with my therapist. Let me write on this. Let me meditate on this. Let me ask someone who loves me unconditionally, who may be able to look at this objectively from the outside in, because they're not in the fog. And then let me listen to that feedback. Maybe there's some evidence to support what it is that you're feeling, but maybe you can only see a piece of it, and there's other ways of looking at it. And then when you get the whole picture, it may drastically improve the way that you feel, which can then improve your relationships with other people or your relationship with yourself. So it's not that you're not allowed to have your feelings. It's not that you shouldn't create space and room for you to feel what you're feeling. It's just that you shouldn't be so quick to react on your feeling or justify your feelings or say that your feelings are valid. If the antecedent and onset of those feelings was a cognitive distortion or emotional reasoning, then it may stem from a place that's illogical or not based on fact. And it may be harmful for you in your relationships to act on that right away without hitting pause. So slow things down. Thoughts are going to come. Emotions are going to come. Martin Luther King said, you can't always stop a bird from flying over your head, but you can stop the bird from nesting in your hair. And emotions are like that too. There's strategies and interventions that we can utilize in order to change the way we feel, to improve our mood, to improve our emotions, to improve our relationships. But we have to hit pause. We have to catch it, replace it, or reframe it. We have to ask ourselves, is there any evidence to support this before I say my feelings are valid and expect other people to validate those? Timber approves this message.